Okay, so the last part that I want to show you is actually some of the tricky kind of addition and subtraction with mixed numbers. And these are going to be the ones you're probably going to need a little more practice in. You may need to come back to the video. These are the ones where your answers either lead you to a whole number or to a proper or an improper fraction or a mixed number, or maybe you need to change it back. Or when you go to subtract, there's not enough for you to be able to subtract from. Now, all of these you could draw models, but I'm going to show you some quick ways without having to draw a model, because we've used the model. So these are just some steps in case you did not draw a model, because remember, it's up to you whether you draw the model or you don't. Okay, so let's start with the first one, 4 1/4 plus 3 3/4. So first thing I do is I'm going to add my whole numbers. 4 plus 3. That gives me 7. Then I'm going to add my fractions, which are 1/4 and 3/4, and that gives me 4/4. So look closely at this mixed number. What do you notice? Okay, you've got 4/4 right here. Okay, what do we know about 4/4? 4/4 is a whole. Okay, so if that's a whole, I'm just going to write my one whole right there. You're going to take this 7 and add it to that one whole, which means the answer to this problem would be 8. Now, 7 4/4 is correct, but most people are going to change that 4/4 to a whole and then make that be an answer of 8. All right, look at the next one. Okay, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to add your wholes. 5 plus 2 is 7. Then you add your fractions. 3 6 plus 5 6. Well, my denominator is 6. And 3 plus 5 is 8. All right, what do you notice is wrong with this one? Okay, well, you've got an improper fraction right here. So this is one that gets really, really tricky. Different ways that people draw this one out. So I'm just going to show you one way today. So you could do what Miss Putman has taught you, where I think she drew the C around and she, let's see, I think she drew a C like this and she added or multiplied and then added. So 6 times 7 is 42, plus 8 is 50. And then your denominator stays the same. So 50 over 6 could be your final answer, unless the directions say it needs to be a mixed number, because this is an improper fraction. So let's say I need to change that. Well, a way that I do that is I look at this as like a division problem, 50 divided by 6. So I'm going to skip count by 50. And we use a lot of songs in my class, so I would go 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and 40, 50. Oh, can't go to 50. I can only go to 48. So I just stick a little 48 right here, just to remind me, okay? And I actually held up 8 fingers when I was skip counting. Those 8 fingers, that's my whole. My denominator is automatically 6 because that's not going to change. But I'm going to come back and compare this 48. How far is 48 from 50? 48, 49, 50, it's 2. So now I have a mixed number. So your answer could be 50 over 6. It could be 8 and 2/6. Do you see another answer it could be? Well, leave your whole number. What's half of 2? 1. What's half of 6? 3. So your answer could actually be 50 over 6. Technically, it could be 7 and 8 over 6. It could be 8 and 2/6. It could be 8 and 1/3. It just depends on whether the question is reducing it down, whether they want it as an improper, or whether they want it as a mixed number. So you have to look at your directions. All right, look at this one. 2 and 1/2 plus 3 and 1/2. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2. My denominator is 2. Okay, remember what I told you? That 2 over 2 means it's a whole. So 5 plus that whole is what? Good, it's 6. Our last addition, 3 plus 4 is 7. 2/4 plus 3/4 is what? 5/4. We can't leave that as an improper. So remember what Ms. Putman taught us. Remember her C, where you times and then you add. 4 times 7 is 28. Plus 5 is what? 33. So 33 over 4. If the directions tell you to leave it as an improper, then you're done. But if it doesn't, we got to change that back to a mixed. So I'm going to sing my 4 song and go as far up to 33 as I can. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. Oh, I can only go to 32, which was 8 fingers because 8 times 4 is 32. Denominator is automatically 4. 32 is 1 from 33. Therefore, the final answer is 8 1/4. All right, to finish us up, let's do a couple subtraction. So if you look at 7 1/5 minus 2 3/5, if you draw 7 1/5, you can do your Xing out and all that. But what if you don't have the materials to draw and you need to work it out like this? Well, what I would do is I would take one of these holes. So if I take one hole, because you can do 7 minus 2, but we can't do 1/5 minus 3/5. So I'm going to take a hole. And remember your denominator is 5. So that means if I took a hole, I took 5/5. Well, 5/5 and 1/5 makes 6/5. Another little trick I do is I just add 5 plus 1 gives me 6. Now you can subtract it. 6 holes minus 2 holes is 4. 6/5 minus 3/5 is 3/5. 4 3/5. 9 2 6 minus 3 5 6. You can do 9 minus 3, but we can't do 2 minus 5. So I'm going to take a hole from here. I'm going to put a hole back here, which was 6 6. Okay, 6 6 plus this 2 6 makes 8 6. So now 8 minus 3 equals 5. And 8 6 minus 5 6 is 3 6. And we can reduce 3 6 to 1/2. So this could also be 5 1/2. These are definitely going to be some of the problems you're going to want to ask your teacher questions on, because in my opinion, these subtraction are probably the hardest. So please, when you're working some of these out, make sure you ask your teacher if you need some help, because these are tricky. 4 minus 1 we can do, but we cannot do 1/4 minus 2/4. So I'm going to take a whole. Well, when I look at my denominator, a whole is going to be 4/4. So 4/4 plus that 1/4 makes 5/4. So now 3 minus 1 equals 2. 5/4 minus 2/4 equals 3. So your answer is 2 3/4. All right, guys. Well, I hope that you learned a little bit today about adding and subtracting fractions as well as mixed numbers. There was a lot there. So please make sure you talk to your teacher and ask for any help that you may need this week on working out your problems. Thanks, guys.